Hi guys, this is Vitaly with AFT Dispatch and A2C Logistics, and in today's video, I'd like to speak with you about what we're seeing in the trucking economy closing out in 2024. But first, roll the intro. Welcome back. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you to please like the video, be sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single release of our videos, where every Friday we're talking about something that could benefit you in your trucking businesses, in your trucking careers, as well as cover the loads we've successfully booked for our customers, consisting of leased owner operators and carriers operating under their own MC authorities running under our truck dispatch services. As always, guys, big thank you for all the likes you've provided in all the previous videos. Please do keep them coming. And let's talk trucking economy 2024. That's ultimately where we're at, closing out the year at this point. I want to see where things are going to go with the closing down of the hot summer months, getting into the fall season, and then, of course, Christmas and 2025. Well, what we got to talk about today, guys, is that we are seeing record spot rates, but also record transportation unemployment in July. Now, why are we talking about July? It's the end of August. Well, again, we're looking at lagging information going back, but we're going to look at two different sources, and I'm going to leave it up to you guys to make a decision on who's actually telling the truth, if any. But let's get more kind of talk about that a little bit later. One of the things I wanted to talk about in today's video also is to actually look at vans, reefers, and flatbeds, rate changes year over year, the rates themselves, what they're seeing, and where the trajectory is moving. So as far as van and reefers, their spot rates, they were actually flat year over year for the very first time in 27 months. So you might think, well, who cares? They're flat. Well, they were negative all up to, to this point. So they were flat year over year for the first time in 27 months. Now, van spot rates, for example, were at $1.63 based on DAT's information. Reefers were $1.98 a mile, and then flatbeds were real close, $1.97 a mile. Also, we're going to look at some of the load to truck ratios and some of the volume figures, because we are seeing major fluctuations in these areas as well. But volume is still lagging, and that's at least where I feel is what we're seeing. However, there are other companies, organizations that are actually stating the polar opposite. So as far as the truck ratios, the load to truck ratios, they're actually up year over year, but they're down from June. So that's a bit concerning coming out of the hottest time of the season. Now, van ratios are 4.2, which means that there's 4 loads for every dry van that's out there. Reefers are 6.5, and then flatbeds are 11.9 to each one, right? So you would think that flatbeds would have a considerably higher rate, but instead we're seeing reefers leading the pack, followed by vans, and of course, lagging behind with the flatbed freight. But months ago, we talked about this in a video getting into the season that unfortunately we were not expecting a crazy busy season for flatbeds, specifically because of the lack of new home starts and construction, all sorts of stuff that you guys generally count on. But rest assured, things are certainly looking up, but it may be a little while until we actually see that for vans, reefers, and flatbeds, all inclusive. Now, looking at the different reports, we're looking at DAT, which you have to understand, DAT looks more at the spot market freight. And, there's other organizations like the ATA that's mainly looking at contract freight, and we'll talk about that. But DAT reports that their spot volumes are actually up 10% year over year. And we certainly have seen increases from some of the worst time during this down cycle. Now, reefers are up 13% and flatbeds are up just 4%, but we'll take it. ATA, on the other hand, is actually saying that there are reports of decreases in volumes. All right. So ATA is on the opposite end, saying that July truck tonnage, their index was actually down 0.9%, nearly 1% from June, and actually down 0.6% year over year. So polar opposite information. But as a reminder, and as I mentioned earlier, DAT and ATA are very different. So DAT is mainly spot market freight, although I'm not a big fan at all of how they gather this information and their data sets. Not a big fan of that, although they do have some of the largest, if not the largest, data sets in the industry. Now, ATA mainly deals with contract freight, so that's a little bit out of that's a lot very different from what we generally deal with out in the spot market freight with carriers and owner operators. So ultimately, DAT is working with more of the smaller carriers versus ATA, where their customer base, if you will, their audience consists of much larger carriers. So kind of take it with a grain of salt in either scenario, because they might both be wrong all at the same time. Ultimately, guys, it's going to come down to this, and I'll leave the best to last, if you will. Unemployment in transportation is through the roof. So the transportation unemployment rose to 6.8%. Now, in contrast, that's versus 4.5% back in June, and the numbers were for the latest report were actually edited. We talked about this in a recent video by 818,000 jobs. They were revised, but the transportation unemployment number at 6.8% is actually the highest since February of 2022. So where's the industry going? Who has the right information? Are these rates correct? And ultimately, is volume going up or is it going down? I'll leave that to you guys. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. We're certainly seeing a rate decline, if that helps. And I did talk to my guys. They're telling me that starting this Wednesday, is when we really started to see that decline, and it's definitely quite evident. So leave your comments in the comment section below. If you haven't done so, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I'll switch over the camera. We'll look over the lows that we booked for our customers, and I'll see you guys in just a moment. Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of these lows. Guys, this week we have a really good mix of vans, reefers, and flatbeds. Now, there is a noticeable decline in rates. However, with that said, we are moving into Memorial Day, the 3-day weekend, the holiday weekend, and a lot of folks are definitely wanting to be there with their friends and family. Hence, brokers are definitely pulling back on the rates. We saw that starting Wednesday and moving through the week. And in fact, some of our customers are going to be delivering on Tuesday because Monday they're closed. So let's go ahead and start with one such customer. Monty is a new customer for us, 48-foot flatbed coming out of Halls, Tennessee, going to Las Vegas with a 44,000 pound of palletized Mastic 1 meltable packaging. 4-foot tarps are required, as well as 12 straps. 1,650 loaded miles booked at $4,200. Got him $255 a loaded mile. Then Fontana, California, a bit of a deadhead there, with a 1-pick 2-dropper to Boise, Idaho, and Missoula, Montana. Now, this is a 41,698 pound load of dry goods, general freight. Tarping was not required on this one, just strap and go. 1,210 loaded miles booked at $3,200, got him $264 a loaded mile. An excellent job. Now, Monty ran actually Monday to Tuesday, but in all actuality, there was only 7 days of work because they lost 1 day due to the holiday, with the receiver being closed on Monday. But otherwise, 7 days of work, $7,400 in gross in 7 days, $259 a loaded mile average on his 2,860 loaded miles. An absolute excellent job. Way to go, sir. Way to go. Next, going to move on to Mike. He's running a reefer coming out of Willard, Ohio, going to Monroe, Georgia. It's a 30,000 pound load of Walmart food, 36 degrees on the reefer, 690 loaded miles booked at $1,900. Got him $275 a loaded mile average. Then Gainesville, Georgia to Weston, Oregon. It's a 42,000 pound load of snack foods, 25 degrees on a reefer, 2,445 loaded miles booked at $4,400. Got him $180 to come out to Oregon. Took a load out of Quincy, Washington to Salem, Oregon with a 42.5 load of General Mills freight of all kinds at -10 on a reefer. 313 mile run, booked at $1,100, made up a difference of $351 a loaded mile. We'll come out of there next week at some really, really good money. Running Tuesday to Tuesday, gross $7,400 in gross for the week on his 53-foot reefer. $215 a loaded mile average, running 3,448 loaded miles. An excellent job there, sir. Moving on to a dry van. Travis is a driver, 53-foot dry van coming out of Sullivan, Missouri, going to Jacksonville, Florida. It's a 19,000 pound load of household goods, 965 loaded miles booked at $2,400. Got him $249 a loaded mile. Then out of Lee, Florida to Oxford, Alabama, moving him out of there, 45,000 pound load of water, 345 loaded miles booked at only $500, which is $145 come out of Florida, but made up a difference. Chattanooga, Tennessee to Clayton, North Carolina with a 44,000 pound load of Coke products, 488 loaded miles booked at $1,225, got him $251 a loaded mile. Then Wilson, North Carolina to Fernandina Beach, Florida, It's a 45,000 pound load of printed materials and packaging, 456 loaded miles. Booked that at 1180, got him 259 a loaded mile. And again, finished off strong at St. Mary's, Georgia to Forest City, North Carolina. 42.7 load of paste. That's a non-hazmat load. 385 loaded miles, booked at 825, got him 214 a loaded mile. Friday to Friday, Travis ran for 7 days, $6,130 in gross, 232 a loaded mile on his 2,639 loaded mile. Now, loaded miles. Now, 1 day was actually taken off with no hours of service, but he started driving again the next day on recap, so a 34-hour reset was not required. I wanted to mention that as well. Great money, great rates, doing very, very well with that dry van. Moving on to Patrick. Now, Patrick's running a 53-foot flatbed. Definitely knows what he's doing. Port Arthur, Texas, going to Ennis, Texas. 48,000 pound load of lumber. Tarps were not required on this one. Port pickup using Twig card for the driver was required. 290 loaded miles, booked at $891. Got him 307 a loaded mile. Then right at Ennis, Texas, zero deadhead to Kansas City, Kansas. It's a 47,922 pound load of shingles. Tarping was not required on this one. 544 loaded miles, booked at $1250. Got him 230 a loaded mile. Then La Signa, Kansas, probably said it wrong, going to LaSalle, Colorado. 45,750 pound load of bagged abrasives. Now, this load did require 6-foot tarps and 10 straps to get it going. 671 loaded miles, booked at $2250, got him 335 a loaded mile. Then Cheyenne, Wyoming to Vail, Colorado. Beautiful, beautiful area. 47,380 loaded miles, booked of roofing materials. 47,380 pounds of roofing materials. Load required 4-foot tarps and 12 straps on this one. Short run, 193 miles, booked at $1,400. Got him $7.25 per loaded mile. Then out of Denver, coming out to Ames, Iowa. Got to get out of that Denver. You got paid real good coming out to Colorado. Got to come out of there and you'll pay the difference. 47,000 pound load of lumber. Our tarps were not required, thankfully, and we had to get out of Colorado somehow, so it was definitely a good market. Still a very, very good rate and nonetheless. So 707 loaded miles, booked at $650, guys, under $1. We're talking 92 cents a mile to come out of Denver after making $7.25 per mile and running around for $3.35 a mile in from Kansas to Colorado within Colorado. So did a really, really great job. Nonetheless, running Wednesday to Wednesday, gross $6,441 in gross for the week. Ran 7 days, 2,405 loaded miles, running at 268 a loaded mile. And by the way, a 34-hour reset was included over the weekend, so he's got fresh hours coming up and did a really, really great job, sir. Moving on to, let's take a look. We got Dry Van. Tariq is the driver in North Haven, Connecticut, coming out of Talmud, Georgia. Tough market. 40,000 pound load of food ingredients. They managed to book 906 loaded miles at $1,800. Got them $1.99 a loaded mile. An excellent job. Then Buford or Buford, Georgia, going to Chesterfield, Virginia. Light load, 22,000 pounds of forklifts. 2 forklifts to be exact. 485 loaded miles, booked at $1,000. Got them 206 a loaded mile on that one. Then Appomattox, Virginia to Meeker, Colorado. 43.5 on a load of solar panels. 1,821 loaded miles, booked at $3,800. Got 209 a loaded mile on a ton of miles. That was it. Thursday to Thursday. Ended up running 7 days, gross $6,600 in his regular dry van. 205 a loaded mile. Ended up actually running 3,212 loaded miles. And guess what? He started in a very, very bad market. The Connecticut is a tough market, and they got him out of there for almost $2 a mile. An excellent job. And last but certainly not least, we're going to go to Cedric, 53-foot dry van coming out of New Orleans, Louisiana, going to Millington, Tennessee. 45,000 pound load of palletized zinc, 410 loaded miles, booked at $750, got him $1.83 on that one. Then Jackson, Tennessee to Danville, Illinois. 44,736 pound load of palletized yarn, 355 loaded miles, booked at $950. Got him $268 a loaded mile. Then Plainfield, Indiana to Butner, North Carolina. It's a 40,000 pound load of general freight for Food Lion. 640 loaded miles, booked at $1,500. Got him $234 a loaded mile. Then Thomasville, North Carolina, Goddard, Kansas. It's a 38,200 pound load of palletized organic cleaning product. 1,201 loaded miles, booked that one at $2,050. Got him $1.71. Get out of there. Finally, finished off with Hutchinson, Kansas, going out to Dallas, Texas. Final load, 44,000 pound load of palletized food, 413 loaded miles at $800. Got him $1.94 on that one. All in all compiled, 7 days on the road, Friday to Friday, gross $6,050 in gross, ran 3,019 loaded miles at a beautiful $2 a mile even. So an excellent job there as well. Welcome back and thanks for sticking around. Guys, whether freight tonnage and volume are up here or down here, our dispatchers are bringing in the rates, the gross, and certainly the miles. If you followed our channel for any time whatsoever, you may have noticed that a lot of our customers are making consistent gains week after week after week after week. And in many cases, a lot of our guys made all their money in this market during the last 3 weeks. And all of this stuff is just gravy. It's the cherry on top. So if you'd like to be able to make the very top in the market and you're a carrier with your own MC authority, or you might be a leased on owner operator, you have your truck, you got your trailer, and you operate under someone else's authority, absolutely fine. You are both welcome. We have the spots currently available to lease on as well as bring on additional carrier customers. So get in touch with us. It's super easy. Call or text 801-448-6363 or get more information on our website at aftdispatch.com. And until next week, guys, stay healthy, be wealthy. Take care.